Alright, so we're going to talk about carbs today, and we're not going to have a lesson like you see on YouTube about how one works physically. We're going to go over a couple parts of one and why and how they work correctly with the engine you have, alright? To start out, just because nobody knows this for some reason, it's like hidden information from the world, yet almost every carb is going to follow this rule. And to start out, the air mix screw, this is your idle screw, and that's a power jet, okay? So we got all three on here. I'm not going to explain how they work, but this is when it idles, this is the mid-range, this is the high range. It's so you can run your bike at the correct mixes at all three ranges. If you don't have this and you set this high or low, it'll run lean or rich in the higher ends. But we're not going to explain all that, how a carb works here. But what I am going to explain is you turn this screw all the way in, just finger tight. You're going to want to turn this screw all the way in, finger tight. Alright, now to set a carb to factory default, you want to do 3 half turns, so it would be 1.5 full turns. So there's 1, 2, 3. That would be factory default for the air mix screw. When you do this one, you want 2 full turns. So we want 1, 2, so there's 1 full turn, 3, 4. So that's pretty much the factory default of every freaking carb you're ever going to find. If it's a Mikuni, one of these off-brand Maconis or something they call them, I don't know, it's a PWK carb. All those carbs are going to be basically that for factory start out settings, okay? So if you're lost and don't know where you're at, that's where you start out. 1.5 turns and 2 full turns on that. And now we're at factory default. It's always in that area. I'm not saying that's true for every carb, but all the nibbies, everything. That's factory default on these smaller ones. All the Chinese carbs, 99.9%. So I hope that gets some people out of trouble to start with. So I drew a picture here. How to pick a carb. Like my piston. It's awesome, right? So we got a 47mm piston, which is basic 80cc kit. Or for those that can do math, 66.2 cc's. By the way, if you want to know why they're different, it's because the Chinese do the volume of the intake, the exhaust, and the spark plug hole. They add that all in when they measure out a cylinder. If you want it in the English terms, it's only the cylinder where the piston slides up and down in that area. So that's how they come up with 80cc, that's how we come up with 66cc. It's all the space where the piston moves up and down for the United States, and the Chinese, for some reason, India and a few other countries actually will take that and add in all those port dimensions, and that's how they come up with it. But anyways, to select the correct carburetor that you want 2/5 of the total size of your piston. So that would be 18.8, and the other 3/5 of it is 28.2 for millimeters. Okay. Okay, and that equals 47. So I made you guys a cheat sheet here, and I hope this comes out clear so everyone can just look at it and know what to find when they want to build something, because there's so many different things, and I wrote them all the way out from 45 to 62. And like I got a lot of people that are busting on me for my 139cc build. I have a 28 millimeter carb. Well, if you were to take 2/5 of 70 millimeters, which is the size of the piston in my two-stroke, it comes out to 28 right on the money. So I'm using a 28 millimeter carb for a build that requires a 28 millimeter carb. So, well, we'll get into that in a minute. So for a 47 millimeter, we had 18.8. So you would round that up. You always round your number up or down, you know, past 5 or under 5. So if it's 6, or like say 19.6, we're at 20. If it's 19 point, or like right here, 20.4, it's 20. So a lot of people don't know how to round numbers anymore for some reason. Oh, schools. Okay, so 47 millimeter, we had 18.8. So we would round that up to 19. So you're always plus or minus 1 millimeter. So if it's a 19, we could use an 18 to a 20 millimeter carb without massive modifications, jet changes, and all that stupid crap. Thing called the Venturi effect. And when your piston goes up and down, it actually draws air fuel in, and it creates a vacuum through this. So as air is passing through this, it's picking up fuel through this port, like for your choke, or from the jets and stuff inside. It's, if you guys watched my funny short where I took a leaf blower and I put a garden hose in it, turned it on, and it was acting like a pump to suck the water out of my washing machine when it broke. Get it all out. And she's the blowing. Just thought you guys would enjoy that. Quick, easy, cheap water pump, leaf blower. That's basically the Venturi effect of how your carburetor works. So if I had a pipe that was this big and my little garden hose in it, it probably wouldn't have pumped water as good as that little pipe with a lot of airflow going through it. You get what I mean? So, anyway, so I just wrote these all out, so I'm gonna just read them off to you. A 45 millimeter, I think it was like a 50cc or 46, something like that, would be like a 17 to 19. Another popular one is 47 millimeter, should be a 18 to a 20. We have the 49 millimeters, which is a 19 to 21. Got the 50 millimeter, like a YD100, something in that range. That's a 19 to 21. We have the new 52 millimeter ones. I think those are the 110cc and the Phantoms. It can do a 20 to 22, would work very well in it. And the people that are building the saw builds, the bigger 54 millimeter, like MS660 or something along those lines, or even a MS460, the larger one, the Magnum one. It's 21 to 23 millimeter. And then the 56 millimeter, which is that huge MS660 or 870s, we got a 21 to 23 millimeter carb. So, and I just listed the rest here just in case somebody has like a dirt bike or something weird or off ball, you know. Yeah, so on the 110cc build, I got a 20 millimeter carb up there, and on the 54 millimeter MS460, I have a 21 millimeter carb. So, and the whole thing is that if you pick the carb that matches your engine, 99% of the time the jets are going to be right in the ballpark out of the box. Just another thing to mention, because you constantly see people use too big of a carb and they got to fight jets by ridiculously huge sets of them, run through them, and it's just no fun. So buy the correct carb, it'll probably drop in place and run beautiful almost out of the box. So that saves you a lot of time guesstimating with jets and all that crazy stuff. All right, peace out.